Hello and welcome to this presentation regarding Microsoft's transition towards an AI-dependent and AI-centric business model. As I have adequately titled this presentation, Traversing a New Frontier in Technology, Strategically Communicating Microsoft's Transition Towards an AI-Centric Business Model. And before we get started, we should really overview who Microsoft is as an organization. They were founded in 1975 and are currently headquartered in Redmond, Washington. The founders, as many of you may know, are Paul Allen, an American businessman, and another American businessman, most notably Bill Gates. As of the end of fiscal year 2025, Microsoft employed approximately 228,000 individuals, and they are a major developer of technology. For example, many of you are probably familiar with what is now known as Microsoft 365. It's formerly Office 365, which includes products like Word, Excel, and for this presentation, I used PowerPoint. They're also known for Outlook, which is an email communication service, and are known in many other areas like Microsoft Azure and Xbox as well. The agenda of today's presentation will center on four key facets, first being a situational analysis, when we'll discuss key findings and challenges of the strategic plan and do a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, or a SWOT analysis. We'll also talk about some recommendations and the goals that I have in mind for Microsoft with this strategic plan, going through GHOST framework, goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. Talk about campaign messaging as well, including a visual ad to be used in the physical realm, for example, like on a billboard or on a bus stop, or even in like newspapers or magazines. We'll also talk about an audio-visual ad to be used on radio stations and in the middle of TV shows during commercial breaks, and to be used on forums like Spotify, SoundCloud, and the like. Then we'll also go over some next steps and where we go from here. So to analyze the situation, we got to understand Microsoft's mission statement is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. This has been the mission statement for quite some time, and Microsoft's product line aims to achieve this mission. Microsoft also has some very notable clientele in the form of companies like Adobe, Verizon, eBay, LinkedIn, and the General Services Administration of the United States government is contractually obligated to use Microsoft's line of products. The situation here that required analysis is that Microsoft is trying to mass introduce artificial intelligence into their product line, and most importantly, into their company operations, where AI-centric agents are slowly replacing employees. This is an issue that has been in the United States public sphere for quite some time, actually, about a little stereotypical here, the robots are taking over, right? This is something that's actually starting to happen in real time, where Microsoft is turning to AI-centric, they've been referring to them as agents, which is forcing layoffs despite generally positive employee feedback regarding the workplace. In the last calendar year or so, Microsoft has actually laid off 15,000 people from their workplace. So to further push this narrative that AI is part of the future and part of technology's future, and we're entering this new age of AI dependency, right, post-internet era, we need to go over some goals that are in mind for this strategic plan. Goal one here being to reposition Microsoft as the primary provider for AI solutions. Okay, what this means is that Microsoft is no longer just a technological firm. They're not just a tech giant, if you will. They're going to be the person front-running this frontier firm innovation, this frontier firm evolution, if you will. A couple objectives I have in mind to achieve this goal are to introduce AI Copilot across 90% of all of Microsoft's products within 365 days from today. Another objective I have is that all employees involved with Microsoft get 100% passing on employee AI literacy training by end of year 2026. This gives employees time to be able to understand what exactly it is that Microsoft is doing regarding AI and how to streamline and enhance productivity and efficiency in the workplace. Some strategies here to support these objectives. The reason why we have these objectives is to try and frame AI as the primary tool for enhancing efficiency and productivity. And before we continue, the AI I'm directly referring to is AI Copilot, which is already starting to be introduced across Microsoft's line of products and does face some threats regarding other companies such as Google and Apple, who really frontlined this whole process a couple decades ago with the introduction of Siri across their products like iPhones, iPods, and iPads, and even in some cases their laptops, their portable laptops, the MacBooks. So the AI I'm directly referring to here is Copilot. We want to frame AI as the primary tool for enhancing efficiency and productivity in the workplace, and we also want to inform employees that AI literacy is a necessary skill to build upon within the company. Some tactics to achieve these strategies and to achieve these objectives are to send out updates across primary products and platforms within the next 3 months, followed with other products over the next 9 months. So starting with the big products, right? Word, Excel, PowerPoint, right? Some of those, if you have the most updated versions of these applications, already are updated with Copilot, right? The goal is to get all of those applications updated. Maybe put them behind a paywall. If you have to, that's what we have to do to try and streamline and get across the point that this is going to really help with efficiency. It's going to be an extremely helpful tool when used to the capabilities that it is intended to be used for. Another one, especially to achieve the second goal of 100% passing on employee literacy training, is an employee newsletter to all employees within 4 weeks of this campaign's implementation to inform them of what is to come. Training programs also to be sent out and completed by employees by end of year 2026. They can be completed any time between now and end of calendar year 2026. Goal 2. This is a big goal. This is a really major goal, but it is something that is necessary if AI is going to truly change the world and empower every person in every organization globally, as is the company's mission statement. This is to secure legislation from global governments to ensure AI access and education. This is a global initiative, right? This is something that if we truly believe that Microsoft can empower everybody, that doesn't leave anyone behind. That doesn't just mean everybody, doesn't just mean NAFTA or NATO or the European Union. That doesn't just mean the Western civilization. That means everybody. So an objective to try and achieve this goal is to obtain consumer partnership with at least 5 other global governments by the end of the decade, which would be end of calendar year 2029. That would end the 2020s. There already is, when I say other, like I said, there already is a partnership in place with the United States government, specifically in the General Services Administration. 5 other partnerships secured by end of decade would only help to streamline this process of involving AI with efficiency and production across the globe. Global summit with at least 25 other global politicians or political leaders by end of year 2027 is another objective to try and achieve to get this goal met. Right? There's the G10 summit, the G7. There's a lot of different global summits, BRICS, NATO, the UN, European Union. A global summit with Microsoft surrounding AI and AI-centric business models and AI dependency and AI implementation, ethics, things of that nature would be very crucial towards achieving this goal. Strategy to help with these objectives, and the framework behind these objectives is to try and again frame Microsoft, instead of just framing them framing AI like we showed in the first goal. In the second goal, it's time to frame Microsoft as a global partner instead of just a technology company, right? That's what they're seen as. They're the business, the publics are the consumer. There's a contract, or the social contract to, I'm going to purchase your product and use your product. Now it's more of Microsoft is trying to get involved and be the leader in AI solutions. And to do that, you need to frame Microsoft as a global partner instead of as a technology company. Some tactics to achieve these objectives via the strategy are to campaign with lobbyists, that if legal, right? It might not be legal everywhere around the world, but where it is, utilize that power. Governments are not experts on everything, right? They're not. They simply are not. To get as cut and dry as possible about that. If it's legal to lobby within a governmental body internationally, lobby. And lobby for more AI technological involvement, either within that government or within that nation. If not legal, campaign with the public, right? Get the public interested, get the public involved, get them, the voters, to change what's going on in the government. Another tactic would be to extend summit invites to NATO leaders by end of year 2025, right? This is the global summit trying to do by end of year 2027. That includes any time between now and December 31st, 2027. Once RSVPs have been secured, you can expand to other UN members, right? If 25 guests have not been secured just by NATO. A few recommendations here going forward. Change how Microsoft is viewed by the general public as well as their targeted audience. Right, we've been talking about that a lot regarding these last two goals that the two goals that I've introduced in this presentation. And part of the way to do that is to leverage owned and shared media. Owned media being Microsoft's official blog, being Microsoft's website, things of that nature. Leveraging that to get consistent and key messaging across to publics. Shared media as well. That's part owned, part earned, if you will. You can utilize paid media via shared media by doing targeted ads. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But shared media on socials, going on social media and posting different ideas and different topics regarding this strategic campaign and allowing audiences to view this and interact with those messages. Another way to achieve these goals, another recommendation I have, is promote two-way communication with target audiences, right? Possibly create some form of AI council, if you will, regarding these topics, a group of leaders within Microsoft that people can look to and ask questions and get answers and get solutions from regarding this campaign. Also, possibly creating some AI-centric programming would be beneficial in getting these goals achieved. Some kind of program that would invite researchers, higher education students, and tech specialists, and other people involved in those areas or walks of life to interact with Copilot and to interact with how Copilot interacts with the products, with the product line at Microsoft. This enables genuine real-time feedback from program participants to Microsoft on how to improve the products moving forward with AI, and even how to improve the business model moving forward with AI, and how to enhance or change, if necessary, the narrative surrounding AI dependency in different facets of life. So now we get into campaign messaging, and I have two different messages and two different types of advertising or types of messaging that I would like to share with you. The first one being this message: we have reached a new frontier. Now this is what clicked for me, right? You think back to America in the 1800s, the era of manifest destiny, finding new frontiers, right? That's what I want to embody with this visual advertisement, okay? Like a sponsored social media post, website ad spaces, and like I said at the beginning of the presentation, billboards, bus stops, building ad spaces, like we talked about in New York City, Times Square, right? Those digital ads are still technically visual, physical ad spaces. In your picture this, it's just a picture that's not really moving. Maybe in a digital ad space, you can add some different transitions. I would leave that up to the creative team on the advertising department. There's gonna be an old Western settler, a guy with his cowboy hat, and maybe he's got some cattle with him, or there's a horse drawing the wagon. He's standing on top of a cliff or plateau and overlooking a cloud deck. Right, this is a very high up cliff, a high up plateau. And there's a parting in the cloud deck that shows a vibrant, otherworldly landscape. The cloud deck is important here. This is a creative touch because the cloud is something that Microsoft was pushing to enhance and to innovate with in previous years. The cloud storage, right? Microsoft Azure. And Microsoft 365, Office 365, that's all cloud storage. You can access different Word documents from anywhere with just a Microsoft account. That's cloud storage. They achieved and got over the cloud. They have found a way through the cloud now. That's the parting in the clouds and seeing this new vibrant otherworldly landscape, all these colors, different objects, different shapes, things like that, things that are shaped by AI. This settler is now on a new frontier. The message here, we have reached a new frontier, will appear in the sky above the whole picture with Microsoft and Copilot logos at the bottom of the advertisement, separated by a little vertical line divider. That's a very popular touch lately within advertising marketing departments to signify brand image. So that's what I'm looking for with this visual ad. It's a nod to old Western settlers in America, a nod to manifest destiny, and a nod to always innovating, always searching for something new, something more, something that can benefit. The second one here, the second message is education promotes intelligence, intelligence promotes education. This is the audio video ad that could be used in radio spots, TV and streaming advertisements or commercials along those lines. It's going to be multi-scene, and it's going to be a 30-second ad spot. So the first scene opens up on a grade school building, elementary, middle, doesn't matter which one, K through 8, even K through 12. It opens up in a grade school building. There's a school bell ringing. Okay. It cuts to a female instructor. She's a female teacher instructing the class in a computer lab. And the line of dialogue she says is, "All right, friends, would you please click this blue icon or the blue icon? This will open a Word document. Does anyone know what that means?" And as she's saying that, her voice is fading, and we cut to other students who are visibly and audibly excited. They're on the computers, right? Back, at least when I was a child, growing up in elementary school, going to the computer lab, best part of my day. 100% the best part of my day. Didn't matter if we were doing a learning exercise or if we were having some free time on the desktops we had. That was the best part of my day. There's a few cuts to those students, and then the final student, the cut kind of stays on them, and then there's a cut transition to looking at his screen or her screen or their screen, and their mouse is hovered over the Copilot feature that's at the top right of the Word document, and that's as far as that goes. Then the next one, the second scene, cuts to a college lecture hall filled with students, and there's a male instructor who is addressing the class. He says, "Please ensure your presentations are submitted as PowerPoint," keyword here, PowerPoint files. No other files will be accepted. So that's a nod to, this is a Microsoft advertisement. This is a Microsoft 365 advertisement. This is something that has to do with Copilot or Microsoft. And his voice also fades during that quote. This will cut to a student, male, female, he, his, she, her, they, them, working on a presentation in that lecture hall, right? The cut is on, it starts on the lecturer, then goes to the student, who has a PowerPoint presentation file open, and the Copilot text box also opens up on the right side. The student is typing in the Copilot text box now. So there's another step forward. The first student, the younger student in the grade school, was just hovering over, exploring, what is this? What is this feature? This student is now utilizing the feature. Then we get to our final scene here. That same professor, that same lecturer is now in a different room or hall at that college presenting his research findings to a group of peers, right? A council, some kind of round table or a conference room or in a lecture hall with a few peers in there. And his topic is why the use of artificial intelligence in academia has limitless benefits. That's a tie back to why he says, please ensure your presentations are submitted as PowerPoint files. No other files will be accepted. And now he's talking about this. Odds are he probably used PowerPoint. Maybe he has a picture of that in his presentation. Maybe he has a picture of the Copilot logo or the Microsoft logo in his presentation, talking about why artificial intelligence can benefit the classroom. We enter on his final sentence. That's not really set in stone, but he's concluding his presentation. Could end with a thank you, could end with a thank you for your time, something of that nature, to which we then cut to his peers standing and applauding his presentation. Those are other peers in academia. That's trying to drive home the point and get to the target audience that academics and scholars agree, or now after watching his presentation, acknowledge that AI can help in the classroom. Then we cut back to the professor smiling and looking onward, maybe back at his peers, giving his thank yous, a little bow, maybe a couple claps on his own. Then we cut to black. Immediate cut to black. There's still music going on in the background. It's like a soft piano that has some motivation. There's not a lot of commotion with the music. It's all non-diegetic music, so obviously none of the people in the scene can actually hear the music going on. We'll cut to black. White text fades in. The white text that fades in is what it says up at the top. Education promotes intelligence. Intelligence promotes education. And below that is, like in the visual ad, the Microsoft logo, small divider, Copilot logo side by side. It fades in with the text. So that's that second piece of campaign messaging. Some next steps here, going forward. Again, my recommendations for Microsoft with the strategic communication plan are to change how Microsoft is viewed by publics and the worldwide community. Also to enable two-way communication pathways with targeted audiences, with the general public, with governments, with everyone. If the mission of Microsoft, again, is to empower every person and every organization on the planet, why not talk to everyone? Why not allow feedback? Why not let your audience give you feedback? Enable that two-way communication. Enable feedback for yourselves so that everyone can see how to improve the product, how to really get AI involved in everyone's lives and to streamline productivity and efficiency. Lastly, a little call for Microsoft. Your publics aren't just consumers. Let them help you. Again, let them be the voice of reason here. Let them be the voice of explaining what they like, what they don't like. Let your publics help you so you can help them. Thank you for your time. Once again, my name is Sam Strash. I appreciate your time.